Testing, testing.
July. And people working in the sheriff's department, they get a different, they get more perks. I got a full house tonight. Got a seat up here on the front.
Scott, in the email, you said this was an update.
I'm going to call our May the 14th, 2024 meeting to order. We're going to ask Reverend Joe Heaven to lead us in our invocation. Then after the invocation, I want us to take a moment, just a moment of silence to remember our fallen police officers from Charlotte and all over the world. Tomorrow we're going to have the service on New Hope Road at Gaston Park. Anyone like to attend, please come. But after the prayer, before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I want a moment of silence. And please stand up. Thank you.
We bow for prayer. Eternal Father, we're so thankful to be able to come into your presence tonight and know that you are real. We thank you, Lord, for our city, for our officials, our leaders. We thank you, Lord, for your provision and your safety through the storms of the past few days. Thank you, Lord God, because you've made it possible for us to come together tonight and discuss the things, the issues that are at hand, and still leave here, O Lord, in one mind. I pray, God, for safety, peace, contentment for our people, for our city. Keep your hands upon us. Help us, Lord, to be ready for your soon return. And we ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Now we'll have a moment of silence, please, for our officers. Thank you very much. Now we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we get started, I want to welcome back Steve Ryan. He's been away on a military thing. I'd like for us all to give him a good Loyal, North Carolina welcome back home. Thank you for your service. And now, I guess the first item is going to be any citizen would like to come up and speak. Go ahead.
We're going to adopt the agenda.
I'm sorry. I was doing good. I had to adopt the agenda. So we need a motion to adopt the agenda. If anyone in agreement.
Make a motion to adopt the agenda.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, unanimous. Okay, now we'll have the public comments. Anyone like to speak, just stand up to the podium, come to the podium, state your name, and say anything you'd like to. We're in Laurel, North Carolina, it's okay. If you have anything to say. Okay.
name's Wayne Buchanan, 620 Gear Street, Florida, North Carolina. We need this audit. We gotta have the audit in order to see where our money's gone. If it would have been taken care of by the last city council, we wouldn't be having to do this. We wouldn't have to do it. But we want to know where our money's at. If it's nothing wrong, why didn't they do the audit back then, before the new council come in? And Larry's trying to work with these people. He's trying to do right by the people of Lowell. But Larry can't do it by himself. Y'all got to understand, he got to have somebody to back him, 100%. Our town's gone downhill. We ain't got nothing. Everything's gone out. The old councils went and bought stuff without even getting the public involved. And that ain't right. This is our town. I've been here most of my life, and I ain't never seen it as bad as it is right now. And the only way it can get better is to have the audit done. 100%. That way we know for a fact that our money was used wisely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Candace Funderburk, 600 Robeson Boulevard. I'm glad you brought up the audit, Mr. Buchanan. I wanted to talk about that. An audit is to ensure financial statements are accurate and in compliance with accounting standards and regulations. The 8 years that I was on consecutively on the council, we have done that and have been accepted by the state of North Carolina, and we accepted it. A forensic audit is an in-depth investigation scrutinizing financial records, transactions to identify fraud or misconduct. He's implying the past council was fraud. At that time, Mr. Chitwood was on there at one time, and also Mr. Robinson, and we accepted the audits as presented. We've never had a problem. Okay, it's going to cost between $30,000, $40,000, or $50,000 per audit times 14 years. Y'all want to know what the math is on that? It's $300,000, $400,000, or $500,000 that the city would have to pay. That's our tax money. So the taxes that are going to decrease would have to be raised again to cover that. I think it's ridiculous, but maybe, let's see, 2014 to 2015, I think Larry was the mayor at that time, so maybe y'all just want to go and do just one. Okay. That's all I'm going to say on the audit. I didn't have time to look at the budget a whole lot. I only saw it about 4:30, but y'all want to do a bulk pickup every month, and we're doing it 4 times a year now. That is going to possibly cost more money in the long run with maintenance on the trucks, new tires, and a lot more gas. And we have to be conscious of our employees. That's a lot of work on them. They could be injured. And those guys in this budget, they deserve a big raise, a big raise. We could not do anything without our public works. Okay, the general fund revenue is up by 13.7%, and that is wonderful. But out of that, the administrative salaries come out of that. And from what I'm hearing, you want to cut 6 positions. You don't want to, you don't want to fund it so 6 positions would be let go. And those 6 positions, last year I didn't agree with some of those. I didn't agree with about 3 of them. But now that they're here, if you cut them, you're cutting off their livelihood to their families, their salaries. And now you don't want to give, the COLA was suggested was 3.5%, but you only want to cut it to 2.5%. And that money, if you do the math, is only $1,749. That's not a big difference at all. And we need this staff, you guys, to administrate grants. If we don't have staff, who's going to administrate the grants? It's just very hard. There's a lot of work to do that. And I saw the stormwater fee is going to be reduced from $675 to $475, and in the future, that's only going to have to be raised again to fund the performing the need of the stormwater utility repairs. The water bill is going to go up either 6 or 7%, even though some of you guys were out there promising lower bills. That is going to go up. And the old saying is, don't cut your nose off to spite your face. And the tax cut, tag fee, and everything y'all are proposing, and then with the water rate increase, will only save my family about $16 a month. But I appreciate it. $16 is 4 cups of coffee for me a month, and I do appreciate that. But it seems like you guys just want to cut to make yourself look good because of all the promises you made, but setting up future councils to look bad as a tax increase may have to happen to fund future projects, but I hope not. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
John Cato, 109 Walnut Street. Can I ask y'all something? Did y'all get the audit for last year?
It hadn't been passed.
Hadn't been passed. Well, let's do it. Because I hate to say this, but the government, the people out there want to know how much money was spent and where it was going. Okay? So do I. Because y'all can go out here, spend $300,000 on some church property. For what? I want to know where the money's going and where it went to. I just heard what Candy just said. But I want to know where that money's at. And by the way, one other thing y'all need to vote on. Making that a 3-lane road down here at the middle school. They need a road to get in and out down there. So the people who live down there can get out. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
But that audit needs to be done.
Next person, please. If you would, just state your name for the record and
Hey.
address.
Bill Knox, 5105 Meadowwoods Drive. The only thing I wanted to say was about the forensic audit as well. When that comes up for discussion, I would just respectfully ask that each council member, please comment and talk and tell the citizens that yes, you believe that criminal activity has taken place. You have something that leads you to believe that and you want an investigation to be done, or you don't. Let's put this to rest one way or another. I mean, we're all about saving money. The audits are online. Maybe this past one hasn't been accepted, but I think when you first came on, January, February, it came up to accept it, but y'all chose not to. I can't remember exactly on that. But I just feel like it's just a distraction. Going back 14 years, you know, any way you cut it, we're talking $200,000-300,000 at minimum, and it's just a distraction from what we're doing here. So could you please all comment and just let us know how you feel about it one way or another? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Paul Williams, 703 McAdenville Road. I want to echo the comments on the audit. With the exception of, I believe, Scott, every one of you have been on the council at some point or another over the past 12, 14 years that the forensic audit has been proposed. So if you believe there's been criminal wrongdoing, then that's going to, in my opinion, reflect right back on you guys. In my opinion, I don't think anything's been done wrong. Now, we may not agree with how the money's been spent. All the citizens may not endorse how the money's been spent, but to insinuate criminal activity at a cost of anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000, I think that's a pretty bold move. And I'd love to see my taxes cut. I'd love it, but I don't see how we're going to cut everybody's taxes without making other significant cuts, fire, police, safety, personnel, etc., and somehow manage to fund say a $350,000 audit. That money's got to come from somewhere. So, on a separate note, I want to thank all the city officials and city employees that got the roads cleared and partnered with the linemen to get the power back on. That was quite the storm, and I think the tornado actually came through a large part of Lowell. So please thank your respective employees and tell them we appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
My name's Ed Jackson. I do not live in Lowell, but I pay a lot of tax and a lot of property here. I want to speak to the audit question. I have dealt for 60 years with the firm of Butler and Stowe that did the audit the last 2 or 3 years in this situation. I can tell you there's nobody any better or more ethical than that group. Ms. Thornton that was here, that's the current managing partner, has no qualms or problems or issues of trouble. The state has already agreed to this audit. Don't waste our money.
Thank you. Anyone else have a comment? I'd like to, I know I asked the clerk to put the firm at the top of the agenda so we could talk with them. They're from Lexington, North Carolina. And that way, you don't have to wait till the end of the meeting to find out about what we're speaking about, or what I'm speaking about, what I'm asking the council to do. It's up to the council to vote up or down on anything. But here's the thing about it. And I understand y'all have a lot of myths in front of you. You don't know anything about our budget. And I'm not fussing to citizens, I'm just letting you know. For the past years since he's been here, whenever he sets a budget, he overstates the expenditures and understates the revenue. And then if you look at our audit, then it justifies what I'm telling you. We take in more money every year than what's proposed to be taken in. That's what throws a red flag at me. And listen, it's not our place to pass their audit last year, not forever. They should have passed it rather than calling all these special meetings in December, and it should have been taking care of their business. But from what I understand, I have never met Mr. Carrick from the CPA firm of Carrick from Lexington, North Carolina, CPA, but I would like for the council to at least have enough decency for all of us to move it up to the top of the agenda, and let's discuss this in front of the people, and let's just ask questions. Like one guy said, ask the questions, and then we'll find answers. But here's the thing about it, Ed, and I'm not calling you out, I'm just talking to you directly. I understand Butler Stowe's a good company, but just think about this. We paid $37,000 and $43,000 for the audit for ARPA, whatever it was. And Mr. Carrick from Randall up there charged $4,000. And for the whole year's business, what I understand from Randall, talking to them, is like $15,000. Look what we pay. You know, it's just not, you got to compare apples. This is a small town. We're limited on what monies we have. But I'm asking the council to allow us to interview or talk with this Mr. Carrick, you know, about potential audit or whatever. But it's up to the council and talk numbers. And we don't really need to go back no further than about 5 years, in my opinion. But it's up to the council. But it's up to y'all. Could I have a motion that we move him to the top of the agenda? Rather than making him wait till 11 o'clock tonight. Is that feasible? Do we have a motion to do that? Then it'll be, I'm sorry to say, it'll be at the end of the meeting, Mr. Carey. So
Well, it's under new business, and I believe that was under new business, and we could have moved them up.
I asked the clerk to do that 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I gave you a chance to speak, Clifton. Let me
Yeah,
speak.
please, go ahead.
What I was going to say, we could have amended the agenda before we adopted it, and you.
I went right on by, that's my fault, I agree with you.
Okay.
When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll
Let's
admit it.
move on to the next
That's
subject.
assuming anybody wants to even have this discussion, but
All right, let's go to the
Sound like
next
we're
item
doing
on the
that.
agenda then, which is the, we already did approve the minutes. Citizen Academy graduation. Who's got that?
We didn't approve the minutes.
I'm sorry, I thought we did. We need to approve the minutes. Oh, we did approve the minutes, didn't we?
No, we didn't.
we didn't.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
All right, good. Second? Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I was out last meeting, I'm on
Okay.
staying.
It'll be a yes vote anyway. All right. That's fine. Thank you. And then that, like I said, so the minutes passed. Okay, the
You're
Citizen
going to ask for
Academy.
the vote?
I thought we did. All in favor?
If you're going to run the meeting, let's run it right. I made the motion and
Scott seconded it.
Scott seconded.
And Mr. Robinson said he was going to abstain, which counts as a yes vote. All in favor? Thank you. I'm a little bit tired, I'll be honest with you. All right, the next thing is the proclamation. The Citizen Academy graduation. Go ahead. Who's got that?
Thank you, Mayor. This year, the Lowell Citizens Academy, tonight is the graduation, and we have something for them that Cheryl's going to grab as soon as she gets caught up over there. But I'll just say that we had 4 citizens from Lowell participate this year. I believe we got 3 of the 4 here tonight. We have Tamika, Kelly, and Laura here with us. They had an opportunity to meet with and learn more about my position, the clerk, finance, utility billing, parks and recreation, public works, and planning departments, as well as sitting on some of the citizen advisory board meetings, such as planning board and Lowell Community Committee. Took some field trips and saw some things with the public works department. And just wanted to appreciate them and thank them for participating and learning more about the city. And Cheryl, I'll let you present, and if the mayor, council would like to get up and maybe get a picture.
Certificates, we also ordered some Lowell shirts, but we haven't had them in yet, so I did want to give you all a certificate. So I just, if I can get you, I'm gonna call your name and come up and get your certificate. So I have Tamika Hopper. And then Laura Lovelace. Kelly Busher? Yep. And then the last person, Scott Wilson, but I don't think he's here tonight. So we'll get this to him when we see him.
Thank you all for participating. Welcome to the Lowell. We appreciate you trying to learn about our government. It's great. Thank you. Thanks to all of you. Thank you, Cheryl. You woke up now. All right. Let's see now. Okay, we need a proclamation for the Public Works, May the 19th to 25. To have a motion to adopt, I guess we're going to read it.
I'll make a motion to adopt proclamation 02-2024.
Let me read it first, if you don't mind. This is good. Whereas May the 19th to 25, 2024 has been designated Public Works Week, in which we pause to reflect on the contributions of the Public Works staff, and whereas Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainability and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life and well-being of the people of the city of Lowell, North Carolina. And whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of Public Works professionals. We are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems. Public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens, and whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Lowell, North Carolina to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, be it now. Now therefore, the City of Lowell City Council do hereby designate the week, May the 19th to the 25th, 2024, as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. And we need a motion to adopt this, please.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? I think we ought to give them a big hand. Thank you, Thad, for what y'all do out there. Thank you so much for this cleanup. You're working hard. 26 hours in a row, I heard the other day. God bless you. Thank you. All right. The next item of deal on this thing is, I guess, the consent agenda. We need a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
You missed one. Missed one.
Proclamation of National Police Week. I did miss a very important one, I'm sorry. Proclamation of National Police Week, May the 12th to 18th, 2024, and Peace Officer Memorial Day, May the 15th, 2024. Let me read that one. Thank you. All right. National Police Week, May the 12th to the 18th, 2024, and Peace Officer Memorial Day, May the 15th, 2024. Proclamation 03-2024. Whereas throughout our nation, law enforcement officers have served diligently with unwavering dedication to uphold the rule of law, safeguard our communities, and protect the rights and liberties of all citizens. And whereas these brave men and women of law enforcement selflessly put their lives on the line each day to ensure the safety and security of our neighborhoods, often facing grave dangers and challenges in the line of duty, as we all know. Whereas National Police Week, observed annually, provides an opportunity for all Americans to express gratitude to law enforcement officers for their tireless commitment and sacrifices, and to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their communities. And to whereas Peace Officer Memorial Day, observed May the 15th, serves as a solemn occasion to pay tribute to the memory of the law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty, and to honor their enduring legacy of courage, valor, and service. And whereas the City of Lowell, North Carolina recognizes the invaluable contributions of law enforcement officers to our community and acknowledge their integral role in fostering a safe, just, and inclusive society for all residents. Therefore, I, Larry Simons, proudly, Mayor of Lowell, do hereby proclaim the week of May 12th to May the 18th, 2024 as National Police Week in our city. I call upon all residents to join in honoring our law enforcement officers, expressing gratitude for their dedication and recognizing their sacrifices. Furthermore, I designate May 15, 2024 as Peace Officer Memorial Day in Lowell, and urge all residents to observe this day with reverence and reflection, honoring the memory of those officers who have given their lives in service to our community. In witness, therefore, I set my hand and cause official seal of the City of Lowell to be affixed the 14th day of May 2024. I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve National Police Week, May 12th through 18th.
Motion by Mr. Smith, have a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bates. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Thank you to the police officers. Give them a hand. Thank you. Now we can do the consent agenda. Need a motion to pass the consent agenda?
Make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Have a second.
Second.
Motion by Chitwood, second by
Phil.
Bonham. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. All right. Then we go to number 5, unfinished business, public hearing, map amendment, general rezoning, 603 Grove Street. We need a motion to go in public.
Hold on just a second.
Sorry.
All right. Make a motion to go into public hearing for the general rezoning of 603 Grove Street.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Attaway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Forgive us, the crowd tonight, we've got some technical difficulties with our screens, so Tyler's going to have to kind of present some of his items from where he's at. He's helping guide the screens for what we got on there. So I'll turn it over to Tyler about this rezoning application that he received.
All right, so we received a rezoning request for 603 Grove Street, parcel ID 302742, which is a Choice USA Beverage. The applicant is JP FJ LLC, and this rezoning application was received on March 11th, 2024. This parcel consists of 2 zoning districts. The front 13 acres are zoned industrial. The back 5 acres are mixed use. The request is to rezone the back 5 acres to industrial so that the Choice USA can expand their business.
Okay, do you have any, as far as what are they asking, what are they putting back, just adding on to the facilities? And is it-
So currently, in the mixed-use district, bottling service is not allowed. So in order for them to expand their business, they need to have the back 5 acres rezoned to industrial so they can expand their bottling business.
So it's already gone before the zoning board and they've approved it, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, we're in, yeah. So we have, if anybody has
Any questions from the citizens? Have any questions? Public hearing, anyone can speak, and the council surely can speak. We'll turn it over to the audience. If anyone would like to speak about this, you're welcome to. There being nothing, the audience, the council have any?
The only thing it's just that portion,
Yes,
the
yeah.
brown portion, or
It's just the checker, so on the left side of the checker, that's the 13 acres. And then on the blue checkered side, that's the 5 acres they're looking to rezone.
the checkered.
That's the 5 acres that they're looking to rezone to
Okay.
industrial.
And it only affects that
That's
5
correct.
acres.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Nothing else around it, nothing across the road, nothing.
No, just those 5, yeah. And staff is recommending the approval because it is consistent with the City of Lowell's comprehensive land use plan.
Any comments, any more
The
comments?
only thing I got is just, so did they just purchase this land,
So no,
that section, or
No, so
when
they-
we went from the LDO, or to the LDO from the county
Correct.
zoning, did we not, I mean, that full parcel's theirs, basically they're just asking to rezone their land. So I'm assuming when we went to the LDO, we took a section of their land and zoned it to mixed use MU2, or?
Yeah, so I don't recall exactly, it was a few years ago when we did this, but what we did, we found some areas where there were parcels that had split zoning, and when those were found, you kept the split zoning. So if there was, industrial
already
front,
split,
yeah,
and
it was
it had
like
been split previously.
C3, that's probably likely why it would have been done. We wouldn't have gone in and split a parcel with zoning, right, with the LDO adoption. And I'm not positive this was
Yeah.
recombined
No,
since
this
then. It
has
was
not
all
been,
parcel.
to my knowledge, it's not been recombined. And they haven't asked for a recombination of the plat.
Any more questions from council? Mr. Attaway, have any questions? Mr. Attorney, you have any questions pertaining to this?
No, just a reminder, and you all probably know this, that if you do approve, you'll also need to have a consistency statement on page 34 of your packet as a proposed consistency statement. Basically, anytime you're doing a map amendment to your zoning ordinance, you need to have some findings that that amendment is consistent with your comprehensive land use plan.
So that would include from MU2 to I&D to facilitate an expansion of existing business, correct? And the conclusion would be a request to include rezoning and assignment of zoning from MU2 to I&D to facilitate an expansion of the existing business. So that would need to be encompassed into the motion, once if it gets approved.
Really, ideally, you do two things. One is approve the rezoning, and second, to find that that approval is
So
consistent
this would
with
be two
your...
motions, okay.
Yep.
First of all, we need a motion to go out of public hearing.
motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, unanimous. Okay, now we need a motion to approve the rezoning change.
Motion to approve rezoning application. The proposed zoning is consistent with the City of Lowell 2040 Comprehensive Land Use Plan and will result in the development of the I&D. The Planning and Zoning Board considers an affirmative vote to be reasonable and in the public's interest.
So you're combining both motions, right?
Well, there was one, there's a second.
Second.
Second, okay, got discussion. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. And then to do the consistency with adopted plans, we need a motion for that, correct?
We just did it.
That's what I asked. We did all in one motion. It's two different
No, we
motions,
did
what we
two
need to
different
start with. From what I understood with the attorney, did you say you needed two separate motions, or you could encompass
Yeah,
it in one?
typically you do that. Here, the motion included both, so that's
That's
probably
okay,
all
that's
right.
fine. That's
Yes,
good.
sir.
As long as it's above board, which it is. Thank
sir.
you. All right, the next item, we're out of that public hearing. I need a motion to go into public hearing for Spencer Ridge Development Agreement. Need a motion to go into public hearing.
Make a motion to go in public hearing for Spencer Ridge Development Agreement.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. My recommendation on this one, because it's so large, and I can't even read the names of the surrounding neighbors that need to be contacted, and you can't really make out your mapping, even with, I had to high bifocals there, and I couldn't make it out. We need to have another meeting to where we can invite, the council, first of all, to look at this thing before we go out. And number one, the neighbors need to be, they need to know about what's going on. It's going to affect them forever. It's going to affect the city forever. But first of all, before you approve something this massive, it needs to be done 100% correctly. Now, I can't read the names. Can you read the names? Can you put them on the board?
Yeah, so we can definitely provide maps where you can see that, but I will say that the surrounding communities were notified when the rezoning came through and this development was approved. That's not what this is. This isn't a rezoning. That's been done quite some time ago, and this is a development agreement more so to spell out the phasing and utilities coming there, amenities, et cetera. But it's up to the council what you all wish to do.
Me
And I'll-
personally.
There was continuance.
Oh, go ahead.
This has all been approved through Catawba Riverkeeper with the donating the, 60-plus acres to stay off the river, and is this the,
Yeah, you might know more about that than me,
Yes.
Tyler, and Lennar's
Yes,
here to
so-
speak to that.
So going back to everybody being notified and all that, so the surrounding, neighbors were notified. It was
What was
published.
the date on that?
It was,
July something, I believe.
23?
22.
yeah,
22. This is,
Yeah, the
it's a different time than when it was back then. And all these promises and things that's in this agreement, the city council, this council is new, all of us are new. I think we need to take our time and look over this, study it hard, and also make sure that every I is dotted and every T is crossed.
can
Because
we
this
let
is
Tyler
forever.
explain what he was trying to explain to begin with? Maybe
Sure,
that'll
go ahead.
clear
They've
up
come from
something.
2022 to 23. Go ahead.
yes, so the rezoning request was set in March 8, 2022. The community meeting was set on March 30th, 2022. It was taken before the planning board on April 2nd, 2024. We requested the public hearing on April 9th, 2024, and we're in today for the public hearing.
That's
And
right.
and if I could add that, I know there's a new version that you all received today and late in the day today, because that was getting hashed out between the two attorneys. I think the intent was to review this in this public hearing. If there are any changes, substantial changes in that's what we're going to bring to light and discuss that. But again, it's up to the council's wishes on how you want to handle it.
We're in public discussion about this. And in the agreement, in the very beginning, when the Belmont Land Investment came to the council and asked to be brought into Lowell, there was nothing required from us to do anything.
As far as that goes, it's already set and done. That's not what we're here for. It's set and done. But what I was trying to say was, this was just given to me today. I would prefer to wait before I vote on anything to read see the changes. Let me read the changes. But that's where I stand.
I concur with you on that.
I mean, I don't agree with I understand attorneys has got to hash out things, I understand that part. But I don't like getting something, and it goes for anything, I don't like getting the day of the meeting when I want to see beforehand, not the time of the meeting. But that's just me.
There's no reason to rush into it, and I think that's a great idea to table it until we have an opportunity to study all this
Now,
stuff.
I don't have a problem going in 30 days, next meeting. We want to set it as the next meeting.
So to do that, you would just sort of make a motion you're in the public hearing, to continue the public hearing until, and you'd want to have the specific date of the June meeting at 6 PM at Lowell City Hall, so that that way it doesn't need to be re-advertised, we don't need to do anything further, you just have the motion to continue.
So I need to make a motion how? Just make a motion I make a motion for the next public hearing to be set for
Yeah,
June.
continue
or
consideration.
Continue,
Yep,
Because we're not close,
right,
we're continuing.
continue.
that's right.
Continue it to the June 11th meeting
You think you got time, I mean,
at 6 PM?
for a public meeting to do all this stuff? Don't you think we may need a
No, I don't think
call
so.
meeting or something?
I think once we dive into it and realize the little changes that have been made, it's going to be fine. But everybody wants a chance to digest it. So
again, it's already,
We're not
what's set
reinventing
in
the-
place is set in
we're not
place. There's no
reinventing the
changes that we
wheel,
can make without being, I think, without being sued.
Let me ask you this, what was the purpose of the public hearing?
Am I,
You know, if it's already set in place, why the hell are you voting on it?
excuse me?
Why are you voting on it? It's already set in place. Just because it's a public hearing, you have an opportunity, just like you got
And-
blindsided
and
today. I got blindsided today.
There's a
Everyone else
motion on the
canceled.
table to continue it till the next meeting.
Make a second.
Got a motion second, but under discussion, you know, you look at what all's got to be said, even though you think that in your mind, which is your mind, you can, but why would we be having a public hearing if it's already passed?
Do you want us just to go over it, just now getting this
No,
information?
I'm just
in front
telling
of
you,
us?
it's so wrong, it's not funny. And it needs time to be studied, because this affects every citizen of Lowell.
You don't have,
Affects all the
you
people
can't
on
go
the
through
road.
30 pages in 30
No,
days.
we're not going to talk about that tonight, because we've been blindsided today, and you got a motion second to table it and leave it open, the public hearing open, until our next regular meeting, I guess. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I just said.
You got a motion second, leave it to our next regular meeting. Public hearing will be continued. All in favor?
Under discussion, I'd just like to
Discussion.
ask that, you know, if there's anybody here that would like to speak on this.
Yeah, is anyone here?
Since it's on the
Yeah.
agenda,
That's a good idea, thank you.
I think we need to give them.
Which we did open up already, and nobody did, but yet.
And we did have a public hearing, we have a public hearing, sure did.
So,
Anyone have any comments from the public about this matter on Spencer Mountain Road? About the subdivision going in out there? I don't think no one's here from there.
no.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second to continue this until our next regular meeting. All in favor? Thank you. Thank you for being smart. Thank you. Next thing we gotta do, consideration to adopt the City of Lowell 2024 legislative advocacy. Go ahead, Scott.
Thank you, Mayor. We went over this at our last city council work session. There were no changes recommended. I mentioned that I would bring it to the council other than a name misspelling that we fixed for a council member. So this is the same as what we had on that work session. This is up for your consideration to adopt.
Make a motion to adopt the City of Lowell 2024 legislative advocacy.
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? This includes all this new impact money as far as different things you've got encompassed in here, right?
This is request for federal, state, and county government advocacy. This is advocacy for certain projects, certain grant funding to continue at the state level, such as Part F and some of the things that we're either benefiting from or hope to benefit from in the future, road improvements, et cetera.
Okay. You have any discussion on this? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, and the next thing is a presentation of proposed fiscal year 2024-25 budget. You have a motion to look at this tonight.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. This afternoon, I submitted the city manager's budget message and budget ordinance documents to you all. Subsequently, we put them on the city website, social media, have the copy available for public inspection at City Hall, and we also brought one to the Lowell Branch Library. So those are available for review. So I'm going to go through the message, and then I can take any questions after I get through. So in accordance with Chapter 159, Article 3 of the General Statutes of the Budget and Fiscal Control Act, I'm submitting this Lowell annual budget for the fiscal year 24-25 for your review and consideration. I'd like to thank all the employees that helped work in preparing this budget, all the departments, and some of the staff up here at City Hall that helped me with some of the budget analysis. Throughout the budget message, I will focus on major characteristics of this proposed budget that relates to the current fiscal years 22 through 24 strategic vision and goals, and highlighting the capital improvement plan for the general fund, the recent development of a community investment fund we refer to as the CIF fund. In this current budget year, the new city council has emphasized the importance of reducing certain fees and property taxes. We held 2 budget retreats in January and February, as well as budget work session council meetings in March and April. So we have over 4 meetings into this budget process this year, many hours spent. Go ahead.
Didn't we skip March?
You're right.
Because of conflict,
Yep.
timing conflict?
Yep, you're right. Yep.
On all, I think 3 of us, 3 of the 4 of them?
I'll amend that, but you're right, thank you. We had an extra long April meeting because of that, you're right. Thank you, Councilman. So 1 cent of Lowell's tax rate, 1 cent of our ad valorem property tax per $100 of assessed value is totaling now $66,329 to support city operations. We estimate a 99% collection rate this upcoming fiscal year. This current fiscal year, we had estimated 90% collection rate due to the reappraisal and the thought of reappraisals getting reversed on certain properties with appeals. We did not realize that lower collection rate, so we're back up to our typical 99%. In this proposed budget, we're looking to continue funding the Community Investment Fund, the CIF fund, with 4.5 cents of that tax rate. That tax rate proposed includes a tax rate decrease of 5.5 cents from 49 cents to a tax rate of 43.5 cents per $100 of assessed value. And with the funding of the 4.5 cents to the CIF fund, that totals about nearly $300,000. We went over that in some of our work sessions and retreats with Mitch from Davenport Public Finance about those projects listed, and I included those on the second page, which, just for the audience's benefit, includes funding the build of a new public works facility. The City Hall Police land, that has already been done, along with the indoor rec center, but the renovation of the indoor rec center, Harold Rankin Park is funded through the initial Part F grants at $1.2 million and $1 million funded by the grants. Carolina Thread Trail is underway right now with the county on a joint construction project that will probably be getting started in the next couple months. We also have on here I-85 betterments that we talked about with I-85 widening project that is kind of at a pause right now with NCDOT. We have our PAL bill looking to fund some local street improvements coming up. Downtown parking, property has been purchased already, and then community center improvements, interior improvements of $75,000. What's not funded in this CIP is a new city hall / police facility, anything at the Riverfront Park at the old dye plant, future phases at Harold Rankin Park, and anything with the master plan that we created for the Bob Bullock Park over at the community center.
I believe you got down on Bob Bullock Park, $1,800,000, is that correct?
Bob Bullock Park, $1.8 million.
How are you gonna do that? Where's that coming from?
We're not. Those are the projects that are not funded. We're just showing that those are outstanding
We
projects.
got a lot of stuff on here that, the council, just like today, we got this thing today. I don't appreciate this coming today. With an amendment, you've had you've had since the last time we've had a meeting to bring stuff to the council. But all this money, every penny in the bank and everywhere else belongs to the citizens of Lowell. SIF money, whatever kind of money you want to call it. And they come in here and tell you that they want you to set a public hearing and adopt this budget without further review, and that would be at the public hearing, I understand that. But we need, I would say we all need an education in where's our money, and every account we have, our water and sewer, all this stuff that you blindsided with the citizens by putting this stuff on the internet. What's been done? Nothing's been done. Nothing's been approved. And until the budget's approved, nothing's approved. And putting all these pieces in there,
I believe that's
bits and
something
pieces.
that we'll discuss in public hearing.
Yes.
And we've got 30 days to read over this, and I think 30 days is enough for me to look over this.
So you want to set a public hearing?
No, I want him to finish what he was talking about.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The CIF fund, as noted in this year's budget ordinance, as well as the proposed that it specifically funds, it's also funded after the 4.5 cents of anything above the 50% general fund expenditure goal. That allocation moves over to the CIF fund. let's see, council goals. We discussed this a little bit at the work sessions and budget retreats, that we're going to be coming up on the expiration of the current strategic vision. We moved that there was no need to change any of those, which are these 5 areas: continuously improve and expand water, sewer, and stormwater infrastructure, continuously improve and expand city streets and sidewalks, develop and update public facilities, enhance multi-generational parks and recreation activities, and develop land use master plans for targeted areas. That we're going to pick up on that this fall, late summer, fall, on trying to rework another 3-year strategic vision with this current council. So that is the guiding goals of the budget from what I prepared. A little bit about state budget grants and other direct funding. This was a pretty successful year in that regard. We have $8.25 million that we received in direct appropriations from 4 water and sewer projects from the state of North Carolina. $150,000 we received from the Regional Economic Development Reserve Funds for the purchase of that downtown parking lot and those interior repairs to the community center, which have not been scheduled yet. We'll be working on that in the next couple months. The general fund continues a very strong fiscal position due to conservative fiscal management and strict adherence to our fiscal policy that the council adopted some years ago, along with approved residential and commercial development sustaining future tax bases. Other grants that we are set to receive or already received, we have an upcoming $750,000 from the federal government on the Lynn Street Pump Station. We haven't received any documentation, just notification of that from Representative Jeff Jackson. We have the 2 $500,000 grants for Harold Rankin Park with the PARDF and LWCF that I mentioned before. We know we've received this $127,080 grant from the Carolina Thread Trail. We use $50,000 of our ARPA funds to match that, which I said we're going to get going in the next couple months on a joint construction project with City of Lowell and Gaston County Parks and Recreation, because their trail segment lines up right near ours on the South Fork next to Poston Park and the chemical plant. Next, the Water and Sewer Fund. Remind everybody that this is an enterprise fund. It's a self-sufficient fund, not to be supported by tax dollars but user fees. Currently, we're a little bit under $500,000 of our unrestricted net position in the fiscal year 23 audit. We know we had a finding in the audit on that, and we've handled that finding with depreciated assets, and we're working to improve that. We also are using right now a $400,000 pre-construction planning grant from North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality to engineer plans to send Lowell's wastewater to a Two Rivers pump station in place of the current Lowell wastewater treatment plant, and technically it's located in McAdenville. This is to be completed in June of 2024. I think it might actually be a couple months after then by the time we get these engineered plans ready. I notified you all, and I was going to touch base in my manager's comments at the end about state revolving fund loan/grant that Lowell had previously received to construct this pump station. They've notified us that the grant amount has gone up approximately about $500,000, and the loan portion has gone down that much as well, with an interest rate of 0.76%. So we'll be doing a possible work session. We'd like to bring in Two Rivers and get a lot of the questions that you all have asked in previous workshops and budget retreats about this whole thing and how this works, or how it would work if the council chose to proceed. So I'll be reaching out about scheduling that, and we'll get that special meeting called. Stormwater Fund, as mentioned, the stormwater fee is $6.75 per month, and that has been reduced to $4.75 per month. That was updated. A leaflet here was updated on the fee schedule page showing that $4.75 addition on there. It wasn't in your budget document on email. The majority of what this department does is it maintains compliance with the state's MS4 permit that Lowell has to adhere to. There's some minor utility repairs, and I think we're going to have to look at some substantial monies to make some of the costly repairs that we've got coming up, or already have in front of us, rather, with some larger diameter piping that needs to be replaced, and a FEMA brick grant is an option to pursue to do some of that. Long-term debt has gone down across the city. It's decreased about $160,000. What this means is about $272 per person of the city. That's how you spread the debt across of the total debt of the city through financed assets, which is an extremely low debt service number in a municipality. The revenue in the general fund is up 13% from the current fiscal year. It's projected to be at nearly $5.66 million. Of course, the largest revenue in that is the general fund, and the general fund is the ad valorem taxes, equating to 16.3% of that revenue, with the assessed value totaling approximately $670 million in the city of Lowell. The new tax levy with the tax reduction is slated to be $2.885 million. And again, that's based off a 99% collection rate. Up 9 cents.
You said 1 cent represents 66 cents. If you do the math, you're at $3.4 million, not 2.9.
66,329.
3 million.
Okay.
Not 2 million.
Let's see, local sales tax is continuing to grow at rates we haven't really seen in Lowell, but that growth is beginning to flatten, like I've mentioned in the budget retreats. This has gone up about $50,000 from the current year at $850,000. I'm looking into this because the way sales tax is allocated in the county, it's based off of your tax rate and how much your levy is, or your tax levy. So we're going to make sure that that number is a good number before the public hearing. That's some information that I'm working with on the county, as they are the ones that distribute that. Another large part of our revenue is resultant from the new fee schedule, from development services, the new fee schedule. Approximately $955,000 for plan review inspections are forecasted for all this new development coming to the city. The city captures some of those dollars, but a lot of it is spent out to our private third-party engineers and construction inspectors to make sure that those developments that we're getting and about to take over as a city asset, from the piping, the sewer, the water lines, the roads, that they're built well. I know some of you have been around since there has been these third-party engineers, and you were here before. And some of the subdivisions, there's some issues with, and we see that in other cities a lot more so than Lowell. It was mentioned earlier, I guess, in public comments about the bulk pickup. We started the pay-as-you-throw bulk program, the full fiscal year being right now, but it was started before, the year before, fiscal year 24. And that's been working well. I think the citizens are using that pretty well. But we are slated in this budget as representative of a monthly bulk pickup in the sanitation department. So it'll move from the quarterly free bulk to the monthly free bulk. There's no increases or decreases slated for sanitation for the garbage collection of the cost per can for residential or commercial. But I will mention that UNC School of Government does recommend that sanitation departments operate, just like I mentioned earlier, but like a water and sewer fund, like an enterprise fund, like a business, if you could say, to where that the user fees sustain fully the entire department. A couple years ago, we've moved the mark up on that quite a bit. We're not at 100%, but we're about 68% of the fees covering that department. So we're inching up on that. And then the vehicle license tax of $10 per vehicle. Each city in Gaston County and North Carolina can levy up to $30 per vehicle. We had a $10 per vehicle tag fee. That is, after budget retreats and work sessions, the idea to remove that, so we have that removed from this budget. That was approximate revenue, about $31,000 a year that we're removing. $5 of that $10 had to be used for street sidewalk repairs and upkeep, whereas the other $5 could be used for general government. So that is removed from the budget. There's a subsequent agenda item, the resolution to remove that formally that we'll send to Gaston County Tax Office if that's the wishes. All right, so general fund revenue sources, real quick on that graph. Again, ad valorem is 52%, and sales tax is 15%, one of the larger revenue items as a standalone revenue item, and then 23% is capturing a lot of the miscellaneous incomes. Now on expenditures. So the CPI index is what we use in Manager World to look at inflationary costs that are hitting our staff, our citizens, and that's where we came to the COLA increase recommendation 3.5. We're going with, I believe from the last work session, that we're going to go with a 2.5% cost of living, which is an across-the-board increase for employees, and then a merit increase of 0 to 1%. As well as option 1 from the personnel pay study that was administered by the MAPS group for totaling $24,464.
Scott, before you get too far ahead of yourself, you don't have the car tax on there. I'm talking about the tax for the automobiles. That's not in your not that in value, no, sir. I talked to Turbofield, the car tax, like a year and a half went by, that none of you got the money because it wasn't even collected. So you need to add back into that, money coming in, how much are you getting for the campers, the cars, the trucks, and all the stuff that you pay taxes on in addition to your home. It's not included in your total value of Lowell. It's not included in the total
The motor
value.
vehicles is included in my ad valorem calculations. The $10 tag fee is what
The tag fee
we're
has nothing to
removing.
do with that. I'm talking about the taxes on a vehicle, like your car's $30,000 and you're paying $49.
Yeah, we have approximately $40 million
It's not
of that.
included in there. I'm telling you.
It's
Total field
included.
value is not- The total value is not in there. And listen, if you go house by house, listen, I'm not an idiot. You go house by house, land by land, all the properties in Lowell, and add them up, you're taking in over $3 million in just residential property and commercial property. And all the growth that we have is not included in there either. You don't add for that. Just like last year, all the money you took in, that's why, I'm not gonna get an audit, I know that, but here's the thing about it. Every penny should be accounted for, and the way you do that is when you have your annual audit every year, and you're never in compliance with that. You're always under what it really comes in. And to overstate the revenue, expenditures and understate the revenues is as wrong as anything in the world. But it needs to be corrected, and I'm not the one that can correct it, but I'm not gonna sit here and let you do what you do, but the council can do whatever they wanna do. But in my opinion, Scott, everything has to be accounted. All the SIF money that you say we have in the bank, the different funds, I don't see it. I'm talking about, we have not ever seen every bank account that we got. How many different facets of money? I'm talking about the bank holds their money, who else?
Can we get back on the agenda?
This is agenda. This is talking about that.
On the, you might get your answers if you just
Well,
sit here and
I'm gonna
listen.
ask the question. He's like, I wanna know this. Where are all the different revenues are in the bank now? Where are they? What are they? SIF? What bank accounts are they in?
Lisa, do you want
I
to?
wanna know. Where is all the money?
Isn't that something that you could ask prior to these
Yeah.
meetings?
We
that's
can
what I'm
get you that
asking.
Well, I've
information.
asked these questions. I haven't
I'm
gotten
asking a
them. Have you
question.
gotten them?
Is that something that you could?
That's
call-
your money, that's their
Is
money,
that-
that's
and
my
I
money.
understand that.
Okay.
But is that something you could have?
I'm not
already
gonna
called
pass
now?
it off. You can pass it off. Go ahead, Scott, and continue on ever on with what you're doing, but I'll get the.
I have a big question, your relationship between a budget and an audit, if they are two totally separate entities.
What do you think you
The budget
audit?
is what you think it is, the audit is where your money is. The audit tells you where everything goes, and we've got that, you can see it. It's been all this kind of stuff that goes back. When you do a budget, you can say, hey, we overestimated this or underestimated that. That does not translate into missing dollars in an audit.
Where's the
The
money?
audit is totally different. The audit takes in what comes in and what goes out.
Where's the
The
money?
budget is the budget.
Where's the money?
Look at the
Where's the,
audits.
that's right, that's what I said, it's overstated, I'm talking about understated as far as the revenue. And expenditures are overstated. I don't like that, I don't like being wrong, I don't like being misled. You can be misled if you want to.
You can say I understated my revenues and received more, but if all the money's there and it's accounted for.
Well, let me ask you
in
something, but you
accounts, then
set
what
your
the hell's
tax
the problem?
rate, you set your tax rate per year, one time a year, before
I
June the
understand
30th.
that. I
That's when you
understand
set it. Not during the year, but only
you're
one time.
suggesting that there's money.
Look
in
at
this-
the money that costs people that own homes and pay, and buy property, how much it costs us. Edward, you can testify how much it costs, it's ridiculous. And we don't get for what we paid for. None of us. None of us. The employees out there that do the job don't get paid jack shit. And they work hard, the people working in the public works.
Let's move on.
The public
I
works,
call
they should
point
get
of
paid
order,
good.
let's move on.
But you
There's
pay these
point of order,
higher
let's move
echelon
on.
people a lot of money. Keep on, that's okay, go ahead. Every dog has his day.
The
Go
cussing
ahead.
stop has to stop.
That wasn't
I'm tired of
cussing,
hearing
defecation, and I'll use the word
This is a professional
defecation.
meeting, and you're not calling yourself professional.
Okay, I'll use the word defecation, thank you. Go ahead.
The North Carolina State Retirement System increased the city's contribution percentage, so we'll see a 0.75% increase in the retirement expenses and 1% increase for non-police salaries. This increase, the costs are listed in here, additional $37,431 is what it's going to cost, $42,204 in the general fund, $58,34 in the water sewer fund, a decrease of $10,608 in the stormwater fund, and that decrease is indicative of that reallocation of employee salary percentages away from the stormwater fund and mostly to the general fund. I've listed out the allocation of the general fund expenditures on the graph, and then we'll move to administration. Administration counts for almost 50% of the general fund expenditures. They're projected to increase by 26.3% due to several factors, mostly because of that offsetting expenditure coming out for the plan review and inspections for the ongoing developments that is paid for with those, that 940-ish thousand budgeted on the revenue side. Professional services and contracted services have also increased due to increased costs of products and additional legal attorney needs for development and operations. And then some training is in there for the planning board to be able to handle their new roles. Public safety counts for almost 25% of general fund expenditures. And I'll say the police department received an admin secretary in this current fiscal year due to many clerical administrative duties during office hours Monday through Friday. We're continuing with the new update to the RMS system and more specialized training with our law enforcement officers. Public Works, the streets department, this accounts for about 7% of the general fund. This contains about a 17% increase. Again, you'll see that as a common thing across general fund expenditures of different departments due to the reallocation of the stormwater department that we spoke about in the retreats. We all know what they do. They do a lot. They do a lot across the city. You see them out all the time. Landscape maintenance, street work, etc. Sanitation, again, about 7%, up 5% from current fiscal year due to that reallocation. I've already mentioned about the bulk quarterly going to monthly, so I won't repeat that. Then Parks and Recreation, $295,280. This is about 5% of general fund expenditures, and we pretty much hit on the Part F, LWCF, and other projects. We'll mention, though, that we are still continuing the discussions with the YMCA about a possible partnership for athletics and possible partnership at the new recreation center, formerly the Boys and Girls Club. We're just awaiting some confirmation from their staff, from their board, about some of those user fees that we talked about in our last work session. So we'll get some information on that and bring it in front of y'all. Let's see, Water and Sewer Fund. It's our Water and Sewer Fund had a lot of attention with this storm. We'll get to that a little bit later in the meeting, but we did a lot of work this year with the Water and Sewer Department. We're forecasting increased system development fees of approximately $1.4 million of revenue coming in from the new development, and that has to be used according to the general statutes on system development fees for system expansion and some replacements that we'll be working through, prioritizing items from the CIP. We just updated the 2024 version of the CIP with a 10-year update for water and sewer needs to figure out how we can operationalize some of that $8.25 million that we received from the direct funds in this future SDF revenue. We do have an increase in water rates of 6% recommended and a 3% increase in sewer. This is to absorb cover the increased cost from Two Rivers, 7.5% increase from Two Rivers. So the 6 and the 3 to handle that. EPA-led service inventory continues with water and sewer staff and the GIS, analysts to meet this mandate. That is mid-October this year that's due, and we're making good progress on that with the Public Works guys in the field, and then our analysts making it all make sense to the EPA spreadsheets. I got a couple pictures of that on the next page of that hydraulic excavator that we purchased this current fiscal year to be able to do those potholing. You see the pothole on the right side, so they can get down really quickly. They can get about 20 minutes to about hit each meter. So we're having to inventory all the meters in the city that are before a certain year, knowing that it could potentially be one of these lead service lines and not PVC, where we have construction plans showing those materials. Stormwater Fund, as I already mentioned, what this fund does, and that the fee is slated to go to 4.75 per ERU and 4.75 per residential customer after the council sought to bring this fee below $5 in our retreats. This budget contains a 68% decrease from the last fiscal year due to that reallocation of salaries and some other line items that were reduced in that. But the unrestricted net position is about $157,000 in that fund. And we may not have to do the fund balance appropriation transfer for that this year, so it would remain at that figure. That was approved in the budget of $27,703 to inject into the Stormwater Department from the Stormwater Fund balance, which we'll see after June 30, but I think we will get by without having to do that, or at least all of that. Capital expenditures, we always got to ask ourselves, is this the best use of scarce resources in Lowell? Can we do it another way? Do we need this equipment? What happens to the customer, the citizen, if we don't have this equipment? What happens when there's a natural, disaster like some of the weather we had, et cetera? So that's what staff looks at. That's what I ask my department heads to look at every year when we're considering. We only have one item this year up for consideration in the budget of a dump truck. This has replaced the 1997 model that we had that gives us a lot of issues. So this is the proposed budget. I can answer any questions from this presentation. Certainly throughout the next 30 days, to Councilman Chitwood's point, there's a lot of time. This really isn't much different than what we were talking about during the retreats, though. I think I brought your concerns and considerations forward with this budget proposal. I would like to again thank staff for helping me with this budget. They all work really hard on not just budget preparation, but everything they do for the city, and thank you.
Any questions? My question is this, as we're talking about the budget, the money that these people out here, when they buy a home, their insurance has gone up, the city, the county taxes, and all this reevaluation and everything, they're averaging about $400 to $500 a month in Riverview, just in increased house payments. And those are the people out here that you need to look at, Scott. And you need to include the tax on automobiles, you need to include every penny that we have and come back with a fair and honest budget, but where it represents us, not just you, but this whole board. And that's why people elected a new board. They didn't elect us because they were happy with what was going on. It's just common sense.
Let me stop you right there. He set this budget to the new council's agenda.
It's not
so
been
It's
approved.
not his
It's not
budget.
approved. We're talking about, all we're doing is talking. It's not gonna be approved tonight. I'm talking about what needs to be encompassed into the budget.
You ain't got to holler, I'm right here.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about hollering.
Mayor, if you'd like to stop by my office, we can schedule that. There's about
Let's you and I go to Turberfield.
There's about $40 million of what you're speaking
I'd love to go
of.
with you up there. When we come back, I want an apology. Anything else from the citizens, or anyone, the board, I'm sorry. Money's money, it's ours. But go ahead. Anyone have any questions? Or you just want to set a public hearing for, what day do you want it? Do you know what? For the budget?
That'd be the next agenda item.
Okay. So you through with your presentation, you have something else? You through with your presentation?
Yes.
Thank you. We need to set a public hearing for the, I guess, for another close out the fiscal year 17 community development block grant. That's the next thing. Then we'll talk about the budget again.
No, we need to set a public hearing for the,
I was trying to get that by, but go ahead and make a motion, set your public hearing for your budget.
make a motion, we set a public hearing for the budget, June, what was it again? 11th.
The budget,
That's 6 p.m.
the budget doesn't have to be approved at the 30th. Okay. Motion second, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. All right, then we got to set a public hearing to close out the fiscal year 17 community and development block grant, neighborhood revitalization.
We just need a motion for that, right?
Correct.
I'll make a motion, we set a public hearing to close out the FY17 Community Development Block Grant on June the 11th at 6 p.m.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Next thing is consideration. What was it? I'm sorry. Okay, next thing is 6D, consideration of interlocal agreement with Town of McCampbell to provide water service to Lowell Elementary. Have a motion on that.
Mr. Attaway, is that something you need to talk about?
Sure, thank you. The previous agreement that we had was with Gaston County, where they're going to extend the city's water line to Lowell Elementary to provide reliable, clean water to the school. Because this school is in the town of McAdenville city limits, this interlocal agreement is between the city of Lowell and McAdenville, basically McAdenville allowing the city of Lowell to put its utility in its town limits. And John, I'll let you, I know you were working with their town attorney, if you'd like to answer anything or call attention to anything.
Be happy to answer any questions. The only thing to point out is there's a provision in this agreement that if this property is no longer used for public educational purposes, so if the school system wouldn't need the property and it would become residential or commercial, then McAdenville is reserving the right to provide water to that property at a future time.
And we go in and cap that off according to this agreement.
Correct.
Now, Mr. Attaway, just to be clear, that it's coming off of the water main that is at Riverview and Bonet Road, according to what this says.
Bonet.
That's what it says.
That's that side road?
For the water coming in now, yes. I don't know how they're gonna get it from McCampbell up there.
It's not coming from McAdenville.
It's gonna be McCampbell's water.
It's gonna be our water.
Be our water in the.
It's our water. It's connecting at Riverview.
Let's get the
Right there
payment.
where Field
It's the
is.
road that goes up towards her.
If you
What
read-
page are you seeing that
You
on,
read on in
Council?
there, it's already got the.
110. Hold on, man. On page 110, it's the fourth whereas down.
They've already met with the the clerk down in McCampbell, they've already got everything ready to be
Yes, sir.
signed. Just I don't know what this is. We're giving up a lot of property.
We're not giving up any property.
We're giving up that property beside of it. It belongs to us. It's our sewer line. That
We're
property.
not talking about sewer
I
lines.
know, you're not talking
That's
about
not
it.
even on the agenda.
That's the backdoor part of it.
It's not even on the agenda.
But that's the
Mr. Mayor, I wish you would pay attention to what you're reading,
I'm
because
not
this
talking-
is not giving
I
up
know what's
any-
gonna happen. They're gonna end up putting those, little warehouses down
What's
there.
your point of order again, and get back on the
Yeah,
agenda?
go ahead. Point of order, recognized, go ahead.
Do you see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? Ms. Allen?
Bonet Road is,
Is
the
it-
road on the side of the mayor's house.
That's Lineberger, Saxon.
It used to be called Lineberger.
Yeah, that's
So
what
it's been
Google
changed.
Maps shows it as. That's kind of what I suspected, but I thought it was Limeberger as well. But,
Well, Mr. Bates was the one that was telling me that, because I had to Google a map too, and he was pointing it out that on the police maps, it showed Lineberger. So we either need to change it to say Lineberger or whatever's existing sign,
What is recognized by?
what is recognized on the street out there. Riverview, I know Riverview Drive is recognized, but it's either gonna be either say Bonet or.
I think an item I mean, that really doesn't even need to be in the motion. That's more of a clerical edit to ensure that's the correct road.
I think this
name.
whereas clause came from the agreement that the county drafted and that was approved, so that would be where this location came from, but certainly if that needs to be corrected administratively, that could be done.
And then again, we are servicing this, we are getting paid for this water. After the whole ordeal's over with, it's being serviced by us and paid to the city of Lowell.
Correct.
Not going to McAdenville.
No.
It does not go to McAdenville.
No.
If the property goes awry and does not become or stay a school, it is cut off and capped off by the city of Lowell.
Correct. This makes Lowell Elementary a customer of the city of Lowell's water system.
That's all that's for.
And at zero cost to the city. The county's covering all construction.
Correct. They're constructing it with their ARPA funds.
There are.
Lowell supplying sewer at this point to the school?
Yeah, we
Just not
have
water.
sewer and, right, Thad, we're supplying sewer collection at the school and we're reading their existing water meter from the town of McAdenville so we can judge the flow of the sewer coming from it. That's what we do every month on the
That's the only
sewer.
way the sewer can get to the plant is where the lines are, existing lines, where they want to move them to put these junk houses in. You got out here on Church Street.
So to that point, we'll have a new water meter sitting there that's metering the water, therefore the sewer usage. Correct.
Make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with the town of McAdenville to provide water service to Lowell Elementary.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
What I do now?
You get the second.
What would you want to, okay, we're going to do the auxiliary police. Bring it up, go ahead, Scott.
Thank you. The city clerk brought this to our attention that the League of Municipalities, who is our insurer, has asked if we had an auxiliary police department, our reserves, and for computing our property liability and other insurance. So they asked for an ordinance that we did not have, so in front of you tonight is an ordinance to allow for Lowell to have a volunteer auxiliary police department to meet this requirement. This is nothing new. The chief can speak to this. This is the reserve. I think we have what on reserve? One, yeah.
Is there a policy, a P&B for auxiliary?
Yes.
Is there any way that the council could get a copy of that and we table this until next month? So I can look at it, if that would be okay? That's okay with everybody else?
I'm good with it.
Okay.
Got a motion to table, so what it is?
Or we just table it till next month,
Oh, that's
June
good.
11th.
All right.
If you, Scott, if you don't, or Mr. Attaway, if you don't mind getting that to us by Thursday,
Sure.
appreciate it.
You got on here, resolution discontinue collection of motor vehicle tax.
Who seconded the table?
No, we just tabled.
They just
it.
tabled
We
it.
just tabled.
No, wasn't no motion, just tabled it. The,
There was just no action taken on that agenda item. We'll go over some next month.
resolution to discontinue the collection of motor vehicle tag tax beginning 24-25. Would that not be in the regular budget we're about to adopt?
Still have to have a resolution for it to stop.
So not be encompassed until your new budget?
They still have to have that.
You got to have a resolution, I believe, for finance officer to
You
turn into the
reinstated,
county.
you have to reinstate.
Okay, I need a motion to discontinue the collection of motor vehicle tax. Have a
That ain't
motion.
what you're needing. What you're needing is a motion
For a
for a
resolution.
resolution to discontinue the collection of the motor vehicle tag tax pursuant to the North Carolina General Statute 160A-213. It'd be a resolution of 07-2024.
Once you adopt that, it'll go away. Go ahead, I need a motion to.
I just gave it to you.
Okay, got a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. All right, the next was amended grant project ordinance. That's forever, 118 to 165.
Hold on just 1 second.
Was that unanimous?
Yes.
And that was Bates the second?
Yes.
Next item is amended grant project ordinance. Go ahead, Scott.
Thank you. I'm going to have Lisa Nolan, our finance director, introduce this item.
Good evening, council, mayor, citizens. We had originally completed this back in December of 2023. After conversations with Withers Ravenel, we needed to amend our grant project ordinance to include the amount of money that local funds was going to come from the city of Lowell to pay for the wastewater pre-construction planning grant. We received the $400,000 in the grant, and then we are going to be expending $188,000 in local funds to take care of this pre-construction for the wastewater treatment plant.
I'll add that the contract was approved by the previous council in October. The contract was signed with Withers Ravenel. We included those old contract, the minutes from each of these meetings, the current grant project ordinance, and the recommended one that shows the local funds on page 121. ARPA grant proceeds, it's the DWI pre-construction planning grant that I mentioned in the budget message about the pump station at the wastewater treatment plant. So that $400,000 is the maximum of the grant, and the work actually costs a total of $588,000. So the local funds of $188,000, amending this grant project ordinance for compliance.
So is that the total 588 for Withers and Ravenel?
188. Yes, yeah, that is total. They are administering the entire pre-construction planning grant. They're engineering plans for the conversion of the plant. That's what that is, the entire amount.
So far to this point, 37,000?
Yeah, the progress
All
billing
paid so
is
far?
not, there yet, but we were notified that we had a question about this, that we just listed the grant amount as 400. When we adopted this, we knew that's what the grant was. We also knew what the out-of-pocket was, but we're under the assumption that the grant project ordinance only needed to list the grant. But it also needed to list that local money match, so that's what this revision's for.
So can this council has authority to rescind that, correct, and go back and keep our own sewer system? There's nothing written in stone that you have to go forward with all this mess and lose our sewer system, which is a big asset to the city. It brings in a lot of revenue that we paid for, taxpayers paid for from 1960 to 2001 when it's paid off. Now you're just up and giving it away. I don't understand, because another council has done something, why don't we have the right to rescind it, correct? And no prior board can obligate another council, just like they did in the December meeting. Instead of passing their audit, they were in there protecting different things and personnel and stuff like that when they should have been conducting business. Why would you give up your sewer system?
So to answer that question, what we're talking about here is a contract that we've signed for the engineer plans. That's it.
I understand.
So
but
we're stuck to the contract.
This is going into getting rid of the sewer plant.
But, as I mentioned earlier tonight, we were going to plan a work session with Two Rivers and you all and our engineering firm to answer a lot of those questions that I know that came up during some of these first budget work sessions. Some of these concerns about what the contract would look like. This is not a commitment to do that regionalization. This is a commitment to fulfill our contract that's signed with this contractor.
What we already owe to Radnor.
Correct, and to update the grant project
But
ordinance.
the total's $588, so that'll be $541,000 more. We obligated for the whole $588 or the $37,000?
$588, we signed the contract.
Why would we want to be obligated to something that we don't really know if we're going to do it or not? Unless the council's already got it in their head to go ahead and dump your sewer plant. We could stop that if the council voted for it.
So the previous council in October of 2023 approved the contract.
Yes, sir. But it can be rescinded. Nothing's been done. Why would we want to give away the biggest asset in Lowell that we have? That helps offset our taxes. Look at all these other towns. When we went down, Scott and I went down and talked to, what's the guy's name that runs the sewer plant? He told us point blank, the dumbest people in the world give up their sewer plants. And that's what they prey on. And we don't, and if you turn, and listen, what's the difference if we do this? Why don't we turn the city of Lowell, listen, how much money we can save? If we give up our city, just give it to Gastonia, our tax rate will be 45 cents. We'll have water and sewer rates the same as theirs, and we won't have to pay the 8.5 cent fire tax. That is a lot of money. People don't realize you're sitting out there oohing and ahhing every time I open my mouth. But listen, 57.5 cent tax rate is enormous for the people living here. We used to have our fire department here. They gave it away. Listen to this.
We never had a fire department, it was a contracted service.
It's stupid. Capital
We
letters.
never had it.
The stupidest thing you ever done was give our fire department away. Now you want to top that by giving away the sewer plant. Stupid is stupid. I don't care how you
John,
cut it.
can you explain to the mayor that this is simply
An agreement to pay
that we owe-
$588,000.
I told you one time, Larry, I'm sitting right beside of you. You do not have to holler at me.
I don't have to holler, but
No,
I want you to
you don't.
understand, we're spending
I want you to
$588,000 of
understand. I want you
taxpayers'
to
money. I
understand.
want you to
I'm done.
understand that, whether you're on the moon or not. That's a lot of money for nothing.
So anytime you have a contract, then there is no law that requires you to fulfill it and to go through with it. There may or may not be damages if you don't fulfill a signed contract. I really couldn't answer that without going back, looking at the contract, getting a sense of how far along is the engineering firm, what's expended, what those exposures are. I'd be glad to do that. I don't think I can do that tonight. But just like with anything, you've got a contract that's been signed, the city therefore has a contractual obligation to do that, but you're not required to follow through with it. There may be damages.
That's
There may be
good.
liability.
We're obligated for the $37,000. They've already done the study. I understand that. But as far as going further into, crushing our sewer plant, building a new sewer plant, and give it to the Two Rivers, listen, that belongs to us. If we keep on giving, let me ask you something. In this budget, only thing in there, in this whole budget, the money's in there to cover the employees, and nothing, there's not even 20% to build things for the city of Lowell.
But this is not the decision to
It's
dispose of
in the
sewer
early
plant.
stages of it. If they go through with it, this is what it's for. This is the early proceeding of getting rid of our plant.
Correct, it's the
I'm not crazy.
engineering
But
plans.
we hadn't gotten to that point for the council to vote on that, Mayor.
And by the way, we're not building a plant, then turning it over. I think you're confusing, or you don't understand what the process is over
You're
there.
eliminating
It's
our
either
plant.
build a new plant or convert the existing to a pump station. Just send it further on down the line. We own everything, including the pump station. From the pump station on, if we regionalize, is Two Rivers. Rather, so the cost of a pump station versus the cost of a new plant versus annual operating of a pump station versus annual operating of a new plant. If you extrapolate all those dollars out, then what are you looking at? As far as the impact on the taxpayer. So if you're sitting there saying, like you're doing right now, we're gonna build a new plant and turn over Two Rivers, A, that's false, that's not what we're talking about.
That's not what I said.
B, we're doing,
Giving away the
exactly what
existing
you just said,
plan.
read the minutes.
You're full of
We are here to do the study, to do the right thing. You wanna kill it because you're afraid of everything and don't wanna give anything up. That's not what we're doing.
afraid of what?
We're trying to do the best thing for the city in the long run and doing our due diligence.
All right, Genius.
We can
let-
run it
let me
by
ask you
here and
this.
do everything
Let me ask you
possible
this.
to be in a
We
world of hurt
own,
and
we
change
own
here.
that sewer plant, it's ours. That's what I'm talking about. To give it away, the biggest asset that you have in this town is your sewer plant. It's owned by the citizens of Lowell. To give it away to Two Rivers, let them come in here and take over our sewer, will cost, no one knows how much it will cost us. We set our own sewer rate because it belongs to us. There's nothing wrong with our sewer plant. We talked to the operator, and the operator plainly told us, and we were let about 50%, not even 50% of capacity. And plus, the plant operates beautifully. All we gotta do is take care of what's there, clean up the place. We got a dump truck, a garbage truck down there. It's been down there for probably a year. It needs a little part fixed on it, sitting down there going to pieces. You got tires all over the place. You got go down and look at your biggest asset and understand how it's not been taken care of. I am ashamed of the way everything's taken care of in the city. Our people outside, they recommend what needs to be done, but they don't get it. I understand, and you understand too. When you see your water and sewer bill, understand how cheap your water and sewer is today, but once you turn it over to Two Rivers, understand how much higher it will be. And when you get your tax statement every year, look at how much you're paying in property taxes, because these people have been on this board before for a long time.
We already pay Two Rivers for our water.
For water, not for the sewer.
We're not going up on the sewer right now.
Not now because we still own our sewer plant, but once you give it away, it'll automatically increase.
Is there not a 3% increase in sewer? Did we not just talk about that?
It's the truth.
Am I hearing things?
Scott, what did the guy tell us down there? Is our sewer plant in good shape?
Yep.
You're an
Do we need to
independent
get
contractor
rid,
that
do we need to get
pay.
rid of our sewer plant?
That's gonna retire. Sure.
He's not gonna retire alone unless y'all run him off and you give it to Two Rivers. The guy does a great job.
And I've seen he does, but it's just
But you don't give away stuff that's been paid for by the citizens of Lowell, just like the fire department. Y'all gave it away without a public hearing or nothing. And now look at you, smarties, you got 8.5 cent fire tax, plus the 49 cent property tax. And the fire department's still down there, and we should take care of our fire department, and it should be, listen, the
Why are we
tax
still
rate.
talking about the fire department? Can we point of order and move on?
Please.
Point of order, is how
Yes,
much it
I call
costs to
point of
live here. Go ahead. Your point of order's taken care of.
Because I
Go
believe
ahead.
you received the same email that I received, that Mr. Bates did, Mr. Robinson, and all these two right here about the fire department. The fire department's a done deal.
In your
It
mind.
takes oh no, it's a done deal unless you're gonna get 100% of the city of Lowell to sign the petition. Are you gonna spend all
Did
your
you
money
get
to do
did
that?
they get 100% to
Go-
sign and take it off?
Are you gonna, I'm asking you that
I'm just
question.
saying.
Are you gonna go get the whole city to sign that petition?
Yes.
And then you're gonna take it in front of the county commissioners? Did you read that email? Probably did.
The county commissioners will be glad to give it back to
No,
us.
they wouldn't.
Listen, you're giving them $800-some
Anyway,
thousand dollars and getting
let's
600 back.
move on.
Let's go ahead. Go on.
It's basically what I get out of it, and I might be wrong, I'm just speculating. Either we pass this, or more than likely, the city of Lowell's gonna be sued, and we still pay out the money. That's the way I take it. I'm not 100%.
Mr. Robinson, have you got an opinion on this?
Well,
I haven't heard nothing.
My thing is that we received the 400,000 ARPA funds.
Lisa, you're there still. Go ahead.
We've received a little over 200,000 already. The payouts were submitted to the state, and the state has already paid that amount, and we have what paid with the revenue.
And I mean, if we're moving on with getting rid of the sewer plant, then yeah, you should pay this. If you're not, then maybe you look at where they're at with it, what work they've done, what work they haven't done. Maybe we just table this till you bring in Two Rivers to discuss the questions that everybody had. And
I think that's a good idea, table it. Save the city, table it, please.
Are you aware of any deadline requirement from DEQ on that?
I'm really not.
Okay, we have to
So,
find that out.
You know, that would have to be something that we'd have to look into
Okay.
and find out.
My biggest question is this: if we had a problem with our sewer plant, I'd be in agreement with you, but everything's up and running beautifully down there. It's just the maintenance needs to be done.
The only reason I'm saying
maintenance,
that,
that's it.
you know, the local funds of $188,000 is a lot of money. I mean, I know originally the ARPA was gonna cover it, but then the additional 188 from taxpayer funds is just.
Before we signed the contract, we knew what the amount was, and this was from a different engineer. A different engineer applied for the grant for us and got us the grant. Their number was even a little bit higher than this one. We went with this engineering firm. We knew that it was 188. In the minutes in the packet, we mentioned in the approval that this was come from water sewer fund balance or system development fees pending general statute compliance, et cetera. And I guess another question that we can find out, I would suspect if you do not deliver on the $400,000 grant by producing engineered drawings, which is what the city applied for, and the city accepted those monies to do that, then the money that the state's already given us is probably going to be paid back. Yeah.
I'd rather pay the money back and keep our plant and save money. That's our plant.
That's a
Well, it's
whole
more
other
than the
discussion.
188.
Hold on.
That's
If
not
we've
another-
already
It's talking about to give away
issued out 200 plus.
$588,000.
No, no.
Yeah,
So,
37,000 to 588. That's the total amount, correct? 588 is the total amount, the revenue. Go ahead, Genius. I'm waiting on
Okay, genius. 400 of that ain't ours.
you. What do you mean now?
Grant money.
Well, hell, it's still our money. It's taxpayers' money. It's not your money. It's everyone's money. All of us across the United States, man. Come on.
Off reservation.
You pick and choose where your money comes from. It still comes from every taxpayer in North Carolina.
There's no question about
Well,
that.
thank you. So quit acting like it's some kind of deal. It's not. It's a bad deal for the people of Lowell. I understand that.
Well, I tell you what, why don't we give every grant dollar we got coming and that we received to date back, and you run it, you turn it into Larry Land, and you do it however the hell you want to do it. And you run everybody in City Hall off, you replace it with all your little cronies, we can run this damn town in the dirt in about 30 minutes.
You can't afford to live here. You can't even afford to live here. Lowell used to be the best place in the world to live. It was affordable and everything was good. Scott doesn't live here. He don't pay these taxes. He don't pay these water rates. He don't pay nothing. He lives in another town. His tax rate's 45 cents,
Get back on
including
the
the fire
agenda.
department, including everything.
Can
The
we-
sewer and all.
What's the council's wishes
Can we
on
move
this?
on
Yeah.
to the next
Sure,
agenda item?
go ahead. I'm tired of talking about it too. It's just wrong with two left shoes to give
Continue
away
to
your
keep
sewer
talking about
plant. Go ahead. What's
You need a
next?
motion to table this?
Yeah, that's what the thought is.
If we don't have if we don't have a deadline or.
A motion to address this one way or another, whether it's going to continue it, whether it's going to be.
I mean, I'll make a motion to table it to the July meeting unless there is a deadline that we.
July or June?
I
July's
mean,
good.
not June, I'm sorry.
September would be even better.
Mr. Summers, let him make the motion, please.
He's making a
Next
motion.
meeting or till
When is
he
it-
can
when
get
is
a
it-
meeting with
When
Two
is the
Rivers.
meeting with that? When is it?
with Two Rivers, and we don't know yet, but I'll find out towards the end of this week. We're set to meet with Two Rivers next week, but I can maybe talk to the manager or the division manager about when they could participate in the work session, even ahead of our staff meeting. And I don't, again, the deadline for it, this is something that Withers brought to our attention that needed to be updated. So I would suspect we have enough time till the June 11th meeting. And I'll keep
Yeah,
you on this one.
I'll make a motion to table it to the June meeting and then from there we'll.
I'll second that.
Have a motion, second, any discussion? All in favor? Thank you, that's a good idea. Anytime you get rid of that, go ahead. Next thing is,
Hold on.
what?
I don't think everybody was in favor either.
Oh, who's opposed? I'm sorry. One?
I second it.
All in favor, let's do it again. You got a motion by Shane, second by Chip Wood. All in favor? Of tabling
We've
it?
already done it.
What's the vote? I didn't see it.
3-2.
It's right in front of you.
3-2. I forgot we got this computer, my goodness. Wake me up. Anyway, I hope y'all having as much fun as I am. The next thing is the amended grant project, page 118 to 165. That's what we just got through with, right? The next one's going to be the forensic audit. Is Mr. Carrick still here? Thank you. I'm sorry, I never met you, but nice meeting you, sir.
Well, first of all, I just want to discuss some things with y'all a little bit, because Eddie Carrick. Because just here in discussion, there's a lot of misconception about forensic. First of all, probably the term forensic audit didn't need to be used to start off with, because forensic audit normally comes into play only when there is suspicion of something illegal has happened to the point.
I'm sorry, real quick. Your name's Eddie Carrick.
Yes.
Who are you with? I mean.
Eddie Carrick, CPA. Okay.
Eddie Carrick, CPA, okay.
Yeah, we currently do City of Ranlow, City of High Shoals, and City of Bessemer City audits here.
You said High Shoals, Ranlow?
Ranlow and Bessemer City.
That's my fault. I said forensic. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just wanted an audit done.
Could you explain forensic one more time?
Okay, forensic audit, when you use the term forensic audit, there is normally some kind of suspicion of something illegal that has
Can I
happened.
stop you right there? Is that not exactly why you want a forensic audit?
I want a forensic audit to find out
How
where
many
the money
times
was.
can we go back on the minutes and you've said you want a forensic
I
audit?
do, well, I did, but I didn't know what a forensic audit was, evidently.
There you go.
But I'll admit I was wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you.
Okay.
Again, point of order, and let the.
Yes, sir, thank you,
let the fellow
Mr. Chilwood. That's one time you're right.
Okay.
I'm waiting
I don't-
for writing what you think.
I don't know anything about Butler and Stowe. What I do know about them is the fact that they are a certified public accountant that's been approved by the state of North Carolina to do governmental audits. One of the things that you have to be able to do governmental audits is you have to be peer reviewed at least once every 3 years. That is where another audit group comes in, looks at what you're doing, how you're doing your stuff, and approves that, yes, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing as far as an audit's concerned. With that having been said, and the reason I say that is if you want to know what's happened with the city of Lowell for the last 5 years, go to their audit reports. Okay? If you've got questions about the expenditures, I will tell you this. We do over 30 municipalities around North Carolina, okay, audits. 90+% of your general fund revenues are confirmed by other sources from outside. So we know, but if I was going to do the city of Lowell's audit for this coming year, when I come in, I'm going to know how much the state of North Carolina's paid you in sales tax. I'm going to know it. They post it on a website. So what I'm saying is, they would have confirmed from outside sources as far as revenue, as far as your property taxes, these kind of things. They're going to tie in what your cash accounts are at the end of the year, and then if any issues come up, they're going to bring it to your attention. So like I said, if you want to know what money's been spent, if you look at the police department or whatever, and you want to know, oh, okay, why did we spend all this money right here? Go to them. They should be able to give you a detail of what made up those expenditures.
When you say them, you're talking about Butler and Stowe.
Butler and Stowe. They should have detail, or they can tell you where they got their detail from. Okay? If you have questions about something, and I'm going to use an example because the mayor had asked me, Well, I just want to make sure that all our state and federal funds, all these projects we've been doing, have been spent the way they're supposed to be spent. Okay? That's what's called an agreed-upon procedures audit. Y'all would come to me and say, look, we want you to go back the last 5 years. We want you to verify that this is the amount that was paid. These are the people that was paid to. You see what I'm saying the difference is? You're giving me specific directions on what you have concerns with.
We're giving you direction to look for something.
To look for something.
Because we are assuming at that point that our contracted CPA is not doing what they're contracted to do.
Well, no. Now let me go one step further. Your CPA is providing a financial statement audit. Okay?
And is their obligation in their scope, if they find something out of whack,
If
bring it to
they find something
if they find something that's
that doesn't,
any red flag that
Yeah.
comes out, they should come to us under contract per what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
As part of their state requirement and say this.
But
So if they do not, and everything adds up, the planets are all lined up and everything's good, and just because we got somebody in here now that wants to stir the pot and create something, he comes to you and says, come in and let's piss off this guy that's already doing a good job, and let's bring you in.
Yeah.
Right? If it was the other way around, where would you be right now? You'd be sitting there pissed off. and
well,
not paying you.
now let me say this. Let me say this from that standpoint. Because, and let me preface this. I'm not interested in doing an audit for you.
I don't like,
Mayor, there's internal conflicts here or whatever that I'm not sure y'all could justify giving me a direction to look at something. Like I say, if there's questions of where the money's been spent, what departments it got spent in, just take your audits. Just go back and look at your audits. Now, like I say, if there's questions, if y'all do have concerns, hey, man, okay, we just want to make sure, yeah, all our state and federal funds have been spent the way that they, because I'm telling you, I do financial statement audit, exactly what Butler and Stowe's doing. I do those kind of audits. There is no obligation for me to dig deep looking for something.
no.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if something, like I say, if I confirm with DEQ that they gave you this amount of money and that's not the amount of money that's showing up on your books, yeah, I got an obligation to figure out what happened.
Now, it's not your obligation to dig deeper, but it is your obligation to say, hey, I'm gonna stop right here because this is where my scope ends, but I think on this line item, or whatever you want to call it, wherever it is,
Yeah.
I think it deserves more
Yeah,
attention.
well, in that case, I am obligated to dig deeper at
Yes.
that point in time.
True.
So if I do come across something that doesn't agree, doesn't look right, or whatever, then yes, I'm having obligation, even though I'm doing a financial statement audit, I've got an obligation at that point in time to dig deeper and figure out, okay, why is this not making sense to me, or whatever kind of thing.
Mr. Carey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Now, the city of Ranlow, for the whole year, whatever work you do up there in their department, audit, whatever, to take care of their books, CPA work, and I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but what do they pay you for years?
No, you're not putting me on the spot, because you can go on the state treasurer's website and look and see whatever fee for every town in North Carolina is, or whatever, as far as audits are concerned. Our base fee's $15,000.
That's for a year, right? And then, like the special audit, like we just paid Butler and Stowe $40-some thousand to audit ARPA, what did it cost Ranlow?
$4,000.
See, that's the things that, this is money that we can save, and I'm not, I never, did anything wrong. We never met in person, not one time. I don't think we've had phone conversations, and I'll admit, I didn't know what a forensic audit was. I didn't mean to misquote anyone, myself especially. But I think it's a good idea for this council to not let him, if he would do our audit do our work every year, would you be interested in doing that?
Did you not hear what he said?
No, he said he wouldn't do an audit for us.
Would you repeat what you just said?
I'm not interested.
Not interested.
He's not
So-
interested. So does he need to repeat that one more time?
I thought he said he wasn't interested in
Well,
audits.
no, I did say I'm not interested in any kind of
Oh.
agreed upon procedures audit or whatever, but no, I don't think I'm interested in the financial statement audit either or whatever.
So you're not interested in any part of looking at any audit for the city of...
I'm just talking about doing our audit.
I'm asking a question.
Our budget.
Any part of any audit taking over for Butler and Stowe, you're not interested?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I
And
think,
and I apologize for you having to wait so
Yeah.
long
yeah.
for tonight, but
And I'm sorry you've wasted your time. So right now, you are at the point where we don't know what a forensic audit is. You've called this man in, unfortunately wasted his time, and what you really want to do is renegotiate terms on our annual audit. So I think
I
we
want to
need move on to
renegotiate the
next
whole Butler
agenda
Stowe
item.
deal. I do want to do that because that's way over
was, is that something that could be done?
Council, I can provide you with the, I believe we're in the middle of a 3-year contract right now with Butler and Stowe and what that contract is. And then if staff would like us to look at another audit firm and consider that contract with the attorney or whatever, I was here, not as a manager, when we selected Butler and Stowe. We consistently had late audits being submitted from our prior CPA. And I'm sure this gentleman can attest that there is not enough auditors doing local government audits in North Carolina right now.
I don't know.
The League of Municipalities has noticed that, is trying to do some of the accounting assistance to ready local, smaller localities to get their ducks in a row as they find an auditor so they can give them the information they need. But if we want to do that, then you instruct the manager to go out and do a request for proposals for, CPA contract. But we're in the middle of one.
While we got him here, can I ask you a question? Just like whenever every year we set the budget, when when the manager gives us the budget, the council approves it, and then when the audit comes in, and there's far and away more money that's been taken in than what was projected, is that a red flag or not? Or when the audits are not turned in on time?
Well, when audit's not turned in on time, in fact, state of North Carolina's took some, they're going to, if you're consistently late with your audits, they're going to start withholding some taxes that they're going to be distributing out. So that is a point of emphasis that they're looking at. Actually, your budget is a legal document from the expenditure side.
Yes.
So I would say 90% of the towns that I deal with, the revenues are going to exceed what the budgeted revenues are. But you cannot spend $1 more
And what
than
you
what the
budget
budgeted expenditures are,
Right. And the money's supposed to go back to the citizens if...
or you're going to be in violation. So that's where you stand as far as the budget's concerned. It's really the expenditure side.
But I did make a mistake on the forensic side. But I did not make a mistake as far as whenever he gives us a budget, it should be the budget. It should be within the realm of maybe 5 or 6%, not 25, 30, 35%. That's what hurts, because that's what kills the taxpayers, because you get charged for what he says when it's not true. You can't overstate the expenditures and understate the revenues and say it's okay. That's wrong. I can't do it. When you turn your taxes in, it better be what it's supposed to be. You're a CPA, that's why you have one. But anyway, I'm sorry I'm glad that you
No
came
problem.
down, but I'm glad to have met you.
Since I'm here, are there any questions that y'all got concern? I mean, like I say, I'm kind of looking at this from the outside or whatever.
I mean, I'm gonna ask you this, why, do you not have enough staff to do another city?
Oh, yeah, I would. I've got plenty of staff.
But if we advertise for a new CPA, could you do it? I mean, would you be in?
Mr. Mayor, not to,
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. No,
No, we're talking about,
limit,
I'm sorry, what did you say? I'm sorry.
no, I would, without some internal resolutions, no, I would not be interested in.
It would be up to if the council, could get together and ask you, in an understanding way, rather than spend this exorbitant amount of money we're spending. We need to save all we can. This is a poor town with poor people. And I do appreciate you coming.
Oh,
And
no
God
prob-
bless
no
you.
problem, I'm glad.
Yeah, and I'm
hopefully-
sorry, it's my
hopefully I've
fault, it's my
answered
fault for saying forensic audit, 'cause the hell, I didn't know what it was, I'll be honest with you. But I thought it was just an audit like we go back 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But thank you, Eddie.
Thank y'all.
God bless you, have a safe trip home. Thank you. What's the next thing?
Excuse me. Mayor, council.
Okay, the city manager report, I guess it'll be that.
No, you still got two more, 6 items.
Yeah, consideration of budget amendment, number 13, 167, 168, go ahead.
Hey, Lisa, let you handle this.
There was a water AIA grant back in fiscal year 2022, and we've just received the final payment for that. So this budget amendment is recognizing that revenue, and that's the reason for the budget amendment, so we can show that we received that revenue because we did not originally budget for it. So this is what this budget amendment is doing.
Was bringing in 67,521.
Yeah, from
What was the grant money for? What was the grant?
it was a water AIA grant back from fiscal year 2022. I'm not exactly sure what all was entailed with that grant. I started in late '21, so I didn't have any dealings with it when I
So the
came.
money's just been lying dormant? Is that what you're saying?
The state did not release the funds
But once you
until
got
just
it, now we have to
recently.
make an amendment to take the money, which makes sense. We need a motion to,
Lisa, do you have this in front of you,
Yeah.
this page? Okay, look at the, that 1.755 million number.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like there's an extra digit,
Yeah, there is. Sorry.
709.
Yeah, it should
is
be
what it should be,
709.
striking the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Where were we at?
This will result in an increase
we
of
have to- we have
400,000.
to amend the budget to accept the $67,000. You have a motion to amend the budget?
Yeah, but I think we're waiting to make sure that we take the extra digit off.
Need to add it up correctly to start with.
And I'm pretty sure, from what I figured, it was 3.
Yeah.
It was just a typo from 3.
Yeah, it's just a typo. Thank
Just
you.
added by accident or something.
What should the total be?
Make a motion to approve the consideration of budget amendment 13 with the typo being fixed.
Thank you.
Have a second.
Second.
Under discussion, how much money is that gonna make that, go to, that line item?
It's on your paper.
That's not what it said, it's 1,779,000, right? What did you have on it to start with, Lisa, 1,779,000?
It was 1,755,709.24. Accepting that grant money, it moves to 2,155,709.24.
That's 67,000, that amount's only 1,800,000, not 2 million something. 1,779,000 plus 67 is 1,853,000. So how, can it be 2 million something?
Yeah.
I made my living out of reading people's faces.
So okay, right here it's saying the resort has increased $400,000.
Yeah, there's
in the
another
water.
error on the budget
There's two
amendment
errors.
that needs to be
Yeah, what?
corrected.
It says it's an increase of 67,000 in one place and then 400,000 in the other.
Right.
Mhm.
So let's get it right before we leave here. I don't think there's no use passing something that's not right. With simple math, you just
Either
add
that,
it
we'll
together.
table till June
It's a lot of
to
money.
get it right. I mean, that way it's already written on the paper and Mr. Simons will be, maybe won't be speaking of it too much. So I say we table 6I, consideration of budget amendment number 13 until June the 11th.
In the meantime, Scott, can you give us the correct figures, say tomorrow?
In the meantime, we don't need it until June the 11th.
I need it. I'm not gonna tolerate mistakes. You
Tomorrow and
can.
ask him.
You can tolerate all the mistakes you want. All right, the next one, we got a motion.
No, we gotta finish.
You got a motion, right? Table it to June.
Need to table it, right?
You have to table it, so I have to correct it when I do
Okay,
it.
just tabling this? Yep. So,
So
I'll
I
make
have
a
to correct it when I do it.
Second table, any discussion? All in favor, table it to June? All in favor? Thank you. Now, what's the next thing here? Let's see. Consideration of budget amendment number 14. I guess you got that too, Lisa, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
This is to accept funds from Gaston County for a township grant in the amount of $31,000. We used those funds to make some repairs at the community center.
I'll jump in on this. So this is for the CDBG NR that we did the neighborhood revitalization grant. We had monies from CDBG to do the exterior repairs, the painting and whatnot at the community center. In that grant, we had to have local match. When the township grants came out in the late teens from Gaston County, what they did, if you all recall, you think you were on the council, maybe Councilman Chitwood as well, is that the county distributed money from the Caramont lease, I think it was, to all the municipalities based on population. We did the crosswalk improvements out here at the Main Street intersection with the pedestrian beacons and purchased, I think, some other things relative to beautification. And then it was slated that we're going to utilize that match for the needed CDBG match. So we received our final invoices from Man Construction at Community Center. And this is the maximum amount of what we can match, or what we need to match, rather, with those local funds. So $31,000, there was about $43,000 some change sitting at the county. We requested the $31,000 to assist paying that Man Construction invoice. That leaves a balance of a little over $12,000 that we can then request from the county to zero out our township grant. I say that would be a wise use of coupling that with the $75,000 if we want to continue using those funds at the community center for interior repairs. That'll come at a later time. This is just to amend it for the $31,000 that we
We need to
requested.
amend the motion to accept $31,000 into the general fund budget. Correct?
Correct.
Have a motion.
I'll make a motion to do a budget amendment number 14.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. The next item is city manager report.
First off, I'm glad to see everybody's safe after this weather, this tornado apparently that we had in Lowell. I think everybody knows it could have been worse. It was pretty bad. I want to thank Public Works, want to thank our interim Public Works Director, Thad, for everything he did, his staff, council members for reaching out, checking on them, making sure they've got food in their belly while they're out there working almost a day straight, or sometimes more than a day, most of them more than a day. Maintaining our sewer lift stations so we don't have sewer spills going into the creeks and roads and people's yards and all that. Not good stuff. So appreciate all you all for reaching out on that. Appreciate them. Appreciate the police department. Really thank all staff for coming together on that. I will mention, the mayor mentioned a little bit about it, but there is a police officers memorial tomorrow at 10 a.m. at Woodlawn Baptist. It's a Gaston County Police Officers Memorial, and it will be followed with probably like 11:30 or so, somewhere around that ballpark, of a procession that goes to the cemetery on New Hope Road, Gastonia. I mentioned already the notice of intent to fund, so I'll leave my comments short at that and pass it off to you, Mayor.
Okay. The next person is on the agenda, I guess, is going to be the attorney.
I don't have anything tonight, thanks.
Thank you. All right, the council, go ahead, Shane.
I just want to ditto what he said about the public works, the police, and all that for everything. I know you guys are out there busting it, and we certainly appreciate it. And tell all the guys we certainly appreciate everything they've done. we see you out there all days, you know, all times of the day, all times of the night, so it's certainly appreciated.
Thank you. Great stuff. You have anything to,
Same thing with them, I appreciate what y'all doing.
you have anything, Mr. Smith?
I'd just like to echo exactly what Shane, everybody, I mean, police, Thad, you and your guys, I mean, y'all are amazing, and always are. You don't get to go to sleep. I mean, sometimes you just get a phone call to have to get up and go, and a lot of people don't get that.
I forgot to mention this, but I need to say it, and I had it written down to make sure I didn't forget, but Town of Ranlow.
Absolutely.
They came through here, they reached out to Thad reached out to them. They were here almost immediately to help us with a lot of stuff. Gaston County Emergency Management brought up another pull-behind generator over here. We ended up borrowing the one from Ranlow, but their assistant public works director and their staff just, there's probably, what, a half a dozen of them. Thank you to Woodlawn Baptist for feeding us. So they brought like a baked potato lunch to the police department. It was our kind of like emergency command center, only facility with a backup generator, so didn't want to forget Ranlow.
Ranlow did a great job. They bailed you out. They kept our sewer plant running and they had 26 hours in a row, so. And I hope that speaks volumes. I know, but I know you were there 26 hours. It would be crazy not to make you our public works director. That's a word of recommendation to Mr. Attaway. But I guess it's my time to speak now. So let me see. The community center, is it open now or not?
It is not.
Why not?
We still have a bathroom repair to make before we can open it.
How many years has it been down now?
The community center's been closed since COVID.
All this stuff is taking a toll. But I know, and people think that I'm mean or whatever. You got the wrong idea. I love everyone. But in this case, in this scenario tonight, if I wasn't so healthy like I am, I'd been throwing up over here on the floor probably after listening to all the misappropriations of money. And I tell you, just like the auditor told you, you can't keep doing what you're doing by overstating the expenditures and understating the revenue, just like leaving out the actual car tax money. You realize how much money that would help reduce our property taxes? And listen to this part. And I know people shake your head, I don't care. The truth's the truth. The 8.5 cent fire tax, 8.5 cent fire tax, and not, the money doesn't go to our fire department. About 60, maybe 72 to 75% goes to them. They let them leave here without a public hearing. They say now we got to have 100% of the citizens to allow them to come back. We're not crazy, and I guarantee you, when I go before the county commissioners next month and talk with them about the situation of how, listen, that is so wrong to give up 8.5 cent tax rate from us and only get back like 4.5, maybe 6% tops. And that's bad management. I don't care if it's your cousin, your brother, your sister, me. If I did you that way, I would be wrong. But listen, we have to honor what this city manager says. He's a leader. He's supposed to be the one that keeps everyone informed. I'm talking about citizens and the board. And to get all this crap today, Scott, is a slap in my face. The other people may say it's okay, but Larry tells you the truth. I would strongly recommend at this time, that we advertise for a new city manager, and also that he can also include his resume. And I'm not firing no one. I just want to go. I can recommend anything I want to. I can recommend it, and you're out of order, but that's all right. That's my recommendation, because I don't like misappropriation of money. I don't like for two things to be different year after year after year. If you think that's right, that's your opinion. Vote for who you want to. I'm not running for nothing. But I can't respect wrong, and that is wrong. When you tell the figures are wrong, and you send this crap out on the day of the meeting, less than an hour from the meeting, I have no respect for you, because you showed me no respect. But that's my recommendation. The council can vote it up or down or never vote on it. But that's my recommendation, and the council has that authority. I don't. But we need a new city manager in this town. That's my opinion. Well, that's good. You can get one of them too. You like paying higher taxes and too much money? Go ahead. Do you have a motion to advertise for a new?
Negative. I'll make a motion that we do not even consider that.
Okay. You have a motion to adjourn? You have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to go into closed session.
Thank you. Y'all go into executive session And all in favor of executive session, go ahead.
Don't you think you might need to listen?
I don't want to listen to that, because you